It's your girl, the Grown Woman Gamer, and today I'm coming at you to talk about my experience watching the Los Angeles Lakers play the Celtics a couple days ago. So, if you watch my videos, you already know that I am a huge fan of LeBron James and have been throughout his career. Not just the man on the court, but also the man off the court. And I had never seen him play live, and I saw that they were playing in Boston. I had gone to school in Boston some time ago, hadn't been there for a while, and I said, let's go. So I told my partner, let's go. We went to the game. It was pretty bad. I'll just say this. LeBron was coming off of an abdominal injury, and you could tell he was playing to feel his way back into the game. So I'm not going to make a huge harsh critique of him, because just watching it, you could tell that it was an athlete coming off of an injury that doesn't appear to be fully healed. You know, he was being careful, as you should be when you're coming back from an injury to your core. The core, if you know injuries, it's what you use for every single thing that you do. So no matter what you're doing, if you have a abdominal injury, it's likely that you're going to feel it. So that's that. He had a less than great game. It wasn't the worst. It was interesting to see him, and I definitely, seeing it live, can understand why people say that he's the smartest player in basketball. But some of the other things I saw were really disheartening. I have made several videos about Russell Westbrook. I'm not going to make this video about Russell Westbrook, but I am going to say that he is, in person, you could really see he's struggling a lot with ball management, shooting, decision making. He's not controlled. He's not a controlled basketball player, and it's relatively shocking because you have a player who's been in the league for over a decade, who is called a point guard, who doesn't really play like a point guard. He plays like a center or something. I mean, he's very much out of control. His decision making is very poor, and what I saw definitively, as much as I would love to cap or cape for the Lakers, definitively they are not a championship caliber team at the current iteration of the team. Something has to change. One of the big things that I thought was, I really believe that they should allow Russell Westbrook to come off the bench. I think that would be a great opportunity for them to kind of gauge where he's at game by game. Instead of allowing him to start and be fully responsible for managing the ball, they should let Rajon Rondo start and kind of work into a more traditional offensive set, and then allow Russell Westbrook to relieve Rajon Rondo, come off the bench, and when he's playing well, let him keep playing. If he's not playing that well, sit him back down. Now, they do need a second point guard option behind, let's say a third point guard option behind LeBron and Westbrook. And I'm not saying fourth, because although I do believe they should start Rajon Rondo, I don't know if physically at this point he's able to really play more than 15 minutes a game. That's something that I saw. And maybe he could do it here and there, but an 80-game season with a player his age playing that many minutes, it's probably eventually going to lead to some type of soft tissue injury. But at any rate, it was eye-opening to see what I am starting to believe is the end of LeBron James' prime. I mean, some people would argue that his prime has been over, but you can really see now he potentially is entering into that phase of his career that we saw Kobe and Jordan enter into, when their bodies were really starting to betray them. And you could tell that LeBron James is, his body is getting older. I mean, you can see that he's an older player in a way that I haven't seen it in previous seasons. But I also just wanted to address the fight that happened not too long ago in the game that they're playing at this very moment. I've never seen LeBron James react the way that he did today. So some people are going to spin a narrative that he hit him intentionally when they were at the line. And by him, I mean Isaiah Stewart. When you watch it back, it can be interpreted in that way. It could also be interpreted that he was boxing out, he was using his elbows to create, separation between Isaiah Stewart and the basket. And then when he went to go angle for the ball, perhaps Isaiah Stewart's face was in the way and he got hit. That's one way of looking at it. The other way you can look at it is LeBron James was frustrated and potentially did something that wasn't appropriate. I don't want to make a judgment here, but I do know that I've never seen LeBron James do something like that. There are players, we can name them: Dwight Howard, Zaza Pachulia, Patrick Beverly, the Morris twins, Dennis Rodman, the Bad Boy Pistons. Like, there are certain players, Draymond Green, who they're dirty workers. That's what they do. They come, Blake Griffin, they come in and they make it almost impossible for people to have it easy. And it's always valuable to have a player like that on the team. I am a huge antagonist for these players, when they are trying to intentionally injure people. Like Patrick Beverly, I can't stand him. I think it's so wrong that the NBA allows a player to systematically attempt to injure other players. It's wrong. There needs to be a stop they need to put a stop to that stuff. It's just not, it's not right. There are levels to this. This is not hockey. This is not a sport where fighting is a part of the game. I know that we're talking about men, and men do get into scuffles and then they walk away and everything's all good. I'm not expecting the game of basketball, or any sport for that matter, where people are in a competitive situation where that there won't be any friction, any conflict. I mean, that's part of the normal expected drama of basketball in any sport. But when you have players that are really trying to hurt someone, I think that changes things. It's not a part of the game. It's not a good part of the game. It's not an element of the game that needs to be encouraged on any level. And I just don't know if I'm ready to jump out there and look at the situation with LeBron and Isaiah Stewart as one where he intentionally tried to hurt him. But at the same time, just to be fair, when you look at it from certain angles, it could be perceived that way. But the bottom line is that LeBron James is very frustrated. That's clear. And he's smarter than all of us when it comes to understanding how basketball works, what it really takes to win a championship. And when I say that, I'm not just talking about in a final series. I'm talking about from start to finish. He's done this almost 20 years. And if we can see that the Lakers are not in a good position to even contest a team like Golden State to get to the finals, then I'm certain that he can see the same thing. But I'm hoping they pull it together. The two things I would recommend is that they pick up Liangelo Ball. They need some young energy, a shooter, someone who's got something to prove, and that they let Russell Westbrook come off the bench so that they can kind of meter out his time on the court based on his individual performance that night. But those are my thoughts. I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you have anything you'd like to add, feel free to jump in the comment section and go wild. Like this video, subscribe. We love you guys. Stay safe. I'm out.